What's up, guys? As promised, I said I was going to drop my video on my thoughts on KD. And remember to like, subscribe, share if you're tuning in after watching, some of my takes on Donovan Mitchell. I appreciate y'all. Remember to hit the bell so you know get the notification when I drop other videos. But let's just dive into this one with regards to KD because news dropped today. And I've been kind of waiting to touch on this one because I wanted to see what happened with Donovan Mitchell because I really think that move happens before KD. And then once that move happens, I think there'll be there'll just be an auction for Kevin Durant. I honestly think Kevin Durant shouldn't go anywhere. I think he should stay in Brooklyn, and I think he should stop being a bitch. Oh, tough words. Sorry, I'm trying to shoot it to you straight. Honestly, there was really no reason for Kevin Durant to request a trade unless he's really trying to be loyal to Kyrie, which in this situation, I don't know why you'd want to give Kyrie the leverage, right? Are you really mad that they're talking about getting rid of Kyrie? I can't see it, in my opinion. So the reason I say stop being a bitch is because I think he asked to be traded because he no longer wants to be part of the drama. He doesn't want to be associated with Kyrie Irving and the foolishness with Ben Simmons. But instead of saying that, he's just requesting the trade. I just think he doesn't want the blowback from Kyrie Irving because he doesn't have the heart to tell him, fuck you, dude. I left Golden State, right? This is a legacy player, and I don't care what he says about legacy. He doesn't leave Golden State if he didn't care about legacy. The reason he left Golden State is because he wasn't getting the love Steph Curry was getting, and people were calling him a bus rider. He went to Brooklyn because he knew that, you know what, let me build something because he needs one more championship on his own, not necessarily on his own, but where he is the bus driver, right? He needs one more to kind of solidify his legacy as one of the all-time greats. Now, he's already one of the all-time greats, but to get in that top 10, right? You have to understand, if you're Kevin Durant, you're probably thinking you can be in the GOAT conversation if you leave, win a couple more championships. At least in the conversation with LeBron, because you've been in 2 championships, beat LeBron. In both championships, you've stuck the dagger in his heart. But you need the other championships to help solidify that. If you overtake LeBron and you overtake the debate and close the gap between you and LeBron, you're in the GOAT conversation. That is why he left. I don't care what nobody says. That is why he left. He left for his legacy. He allowed Kyrie Irving to convince him, hey, Brooklyn, they have 2 max contracts, cap room, draft picks. Maybe we can make some shit happen, okay? Kyrie Irving is the basketball version of Kanye West. The only reason they went to Brooklyn is because everybody had them pegged for New York Knicks. So he was like, watch this. I'm going to go to New York, but it's going to be Brooklyn, which was the dumbest move ever. They'll never get the love in Brooklyn that it would have got in New York. Never. Look at the love Julius Randle got when we went to the playoffs for the first time in I don't know how long. And that was just for making the playoffs. Brooklyn is getting other teams' players chanted in that arena. I think Kevin Durant saw that, combine that with now Kyrie's not playing. Are you kidding? I left here for my legacy. And you're not going to play? I'd have punched Kyrie in his face already. That's just me. That's just my opinion. If I were Kevin Durant, I would have swung on Kyrie. But Kevin Durant doesn't want that smoke. He's Captain Twitter fingers. Okay. He'd rather just talk behind a screen and be funny on Twitter. Right? Own up to your shit, man. Own up. I don't think he really wants to leave Brooklyn. I think he wants Kyrie and Ben Simmons gone, but he don't want the heat for saying I want Kyrie and Ben Simmons gone. So at the end of the day, let's talk trade scenarios though, because I don't know how that's going to pan out. If I'm the Celtics, I heard the Celtics declined the deal for Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and picks. If I'm the Celtics, anybody knows me knows I'm a big Jaylen Brown fan. I actually like Jaylen Brown more than I like Jason Tatum. I'm not saying he's more talented because Jason Tatum is the more pure talent. I'll give you that. But I don't think it's light years between him and Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown has dog mentality in him. I don't know how many times they've been down and I've watched him kind of turn it on when Jason Tatum is just kind of loafing or choking, so to speak, because that was a choke job of all choke jobs we saw in the finals by Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown has dog in him. If he continues to work on his handle, and he might not never be a superstar like people want to peg Jason Tatum, but he does the things that I value, which is he shows up in the fourth and he's always up for the challenge. It might not work out. He might turn the ball over, but those are things I think that can be coached out. Those are things that I think he goes into the offseason and rectifies, okay? Jaylen Brown's very valuable, at least to me. And if I'm the Nets, he'd be very valuable. I would have exactly asked for Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. And I need picks. Okay, they were right to do so. Kevin Durant it's him and it's Giannis for the best player in the league. I cannot believe teams are not lining up for Kevin Durant. If you're Miami, trade Bam Adebayo. There is no world where Bam Adebayo is going to be as valuable as Kevin Durant. You will never win a title if you don't get if you don't make a move. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero are not going to win you a championship. You guys have overachieved for the last couple years. Overachieved. Like, I know Miami fans, you don't want to hear this, but you have overachieved. It was a weird year this year where the Nets fell off a cliff. Milwaukee wasn't quite themselves. The shit that was going on with Philly, right? That you guys got the number one seed. And as a result of getting the number one seed, you got some favorable matchups, which helped you get to the finals, which even got you a favorable matchup there because technically Boston, again, it was a weird year. And I'm not trying to poo-poo Boston, but in a regular season, Boston's probably not in the finals. Respect to Boston. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be in the hunt every year. Don't get me wrong. But everybody knows the Bucks would have beat them with Chris Middleton. Just saying. And then the Nets completely melted down. If that was a prime Nets team, you think they beat them? I know they swept them, but if Kyrie would have came in on board without his BS, and they don't lose James Harden, they were down a man. Ben Simmons didn't play. So my point is, if you think Bam Adebayo is that player, I feel bad for you. I like him a lot. Great defensive player. Great. But what he does is replaceable. You can replace what he does. What if you get Kevin Durant and you get a Nick Claxton? And I know Nick Claxton isn't as good as Bam Adebayo, but all you're missing is a good defender that's not like a fish out of water in pick and roll. And Nick Claxton can play that. Hell, Taco Fall's out there if you're worried about a center. There's always these huge dudes out there like JaVale McGee that for some reason people don't value. There's always these 7-footers out there that you can always make a play for to fix your center position. Get you a Kevin Durant. It takes the heat off of Jimmy Butler, who probably only has a year left at all-star level ability, okay? And you probably prolong his career because now he can focus more on what he does, and that's making all the dirty plays that help you win. And it's going to help take you over the top when you have a Kevin Durant. Miami should make this deal. I don't care. They should make this deal. Goodbye, Bam Adebayo. The guy refuses to shoot. You can't win without putting the ball in the bucket. They couldn't make the finals because only Jimmy Butler, who's not known to be a scorer, had to go Super Saiyan to get them as far as they got. They literally couldn't get to the finals because they couldn't score. Just my thoughts. But other teams, Kevin Durant, if you're OKC, do you want to win? Because here's my thinking. OKC has the assets to make not one, but two moves. They have enough assets to get Kevin Durant, and if they really wanted to, they could probably get Donovan Mitchell. Trade Shai Gilgeous. Again, there's certain players that they're great regular season players, but are they winning players? Do you see Shai Gilgeous being in the finals? Because I don't. I like Lou Dort. Trade Shai Gilgeous. Trade Lou Dort. Trade Chet. Get you Kevin Durant. And you have draft picks. Get you a second star. Like, you have the ability to change your team overnight. You have enough assets to do it. So just why not? Unless you're just OKC, you're just proud and you don't want to be the guy that, give up assets to get the guy that you just had. I can respect that. But I don't know why OKC would want to continue down this. Let's just keep drafting, unless you just don't care about winning. And maybe Sam Presti doesn't care about winning. Washington's another interesting one that I heard thrown out there. They do have some interesting players, but I'm not sure Brooklyn would want them. Like Kristaps Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma. I think Brooklyn is looking for a package that at least helps keep them relevant. And I don't know if Washington can provide that. But at least, like, for instance, in a deal with OKC, you can get what if you get you Shai Gilgeous and Chet, right? And some draft picks. At least that's something you could put out on the floor that people, it's Brooklyn, people have fun with, and you can continue to build that way, right? Who's another team? Other teams, you got Orlando. That doesn't make sense because, they're young. It doesn't fit the time. I just think the perfect team is Miami. I think Chicago should make a move. Trade whatever draft picks it's going to cost you. See if you compare him with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. In any other time, it might cost you Zach LaVine. I don't think they have enough assets without one of the two, DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine. And Zach LaVine isn't going to be able to be traded because he just signed the extension. So I don't know. I think it's interesting to see him in Chicago with maybe a Zach LaVine or a DeMar DeRozan, but I just don't think without one of those two, I don't think they have the assets to pull it off. You do have Vucevic, but then that's about it. They're probably not going to want Lonzo Ball with his injury history and contract. But I think you could field an interesting team if you're able to land Kevin Durant in Chicago. Maybe you get a third team in to help facilitate a trade. Flip Lonzo to some other team to help facilitate it. I think Chicago's interesting to me. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the best spot is just Brooklyn. Man up, KD. Tell them what you want. Tell them boys to get Kyrie out of here. And maybe see what you got in Ben Simmons. See if you can up his value. And if you're still not happy, flip him at the trade deadline. But stop being a bitch and tell people what you want, man. Because otherwise, you're going to end up back in Golden State, and you might as well retire at that point. I'd hate to see him in green. I mean, I think the Celtics, that's the Miami Celtics, best spots for Kevin Durant. Otherwise, stay your ass in Brooklyn, bro. We don't want you in New York after the way you trashed us when we thought we had you a few years ago. We don't want you in New York, bro. You chose Brooklyn. Stay your ass in Brooklyn. If you're, what's another team? If you're the Hornets, I don't know if they got enough. And it'll probably definitely cost you LaMelo. And I'm not sure they'd want to come off of Melo. But, I mean, I consider it. I like Melo, but is he a winning player? I haven't quite got that. I don't know. I think the hype is bigger around Melo than it probably should be. But I'm just brainstorming, guys. Oh, here's the one that I forgot that I wanted. Oh, man. Genie Bus. Trade LeBron for Kevin Durant. It makes sense for both teams. You're still relevant if you're Brooklyn. You're not only relevant, but you're in the championship chase if you're Brooklyn. You kind of reset your timeline because LeBron depleted all your future by getting rid of all your draft picks, right, for Anthony Davis. Both teams are back in contention with this move. And it helps with the timeline because KD is younger than LeBron. So at least now you don't have to worry so much about your future because Kevin Durant, it just makes sense. I would do it today. LeBron's never felt like a Laker. Make it happen. Let me know what y'all think. Peace.